Jeff Hansen, Window Warriors Forum. Check us out, windowcleaningwarriors.com. Today we're taking a look at bidding jobs. So the most frequently asked question I get that people will email me individually and ask is in regards to pricing. How much to charge, to price jobs out? Should it be hourly? Should it be per window? Should it be square footage of a home? And my answer, what's worked for me, is price per window. Price per window for me seems to be the best fit because it's the most common and straightforward. Because square footage of a home, if you have a 2,000 square foot home, doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be 20 windows in every 2,000 square foot home. So square footage doesn't really relate to how many windows or even the size of windows or the style of windows. So we don't like the square footage of a home for that reason. We don't like the hourly because my hourly, I might be able to clean 20 windows in an hour. One of my crews might be able to clean 10 in an hour. You have so much of a difference there. Everybody has a different speed, different pace, and a lot of that has to do with maybe skill level, efficiency, technique, and detail to quality. Sometimes people don't even detail windows, so they're going to be a little faster than somebody that does detail. But then, on the same hand, you might have somebody that details that's faster than somebody that doesn't. So it's hard to tell there hourly. So I like what always stays the same, which is price per window. So when you get into price per window, I look at crank-out windows. A crank-out window is going to have one exterior pane, one interior pane. If you have a double hung window, you're going to have one upper pane, one lower pane. So 2 panes on the outside, 2 panes on the inside. So it kind of changes it. I consider anything to be a pane that is surrounded by a frame. So the only exception to this is going to be French cut-ups. I'll say, when you have French cut-ups that are maybe a 12 divided light where there's 12 French panes within one square window, I'll maybe consider 4 French cut-ups equal 1 pane. Try to break it down into a easier number that's easy to help you determine a price by. Price per pane, I go with $6 per pane, so it's $12 a window. It can be a crank out, so one crank out outside only, $6. One crank out in and out if that customer chooses, $12. Compared to a double hung, you're going to have 2 outside, 2 inside, $24. So but then also what's included with your price per pane. So my price per pane at $6 per pane includes wiping tracks and washing screens, and we run our screens through a screen cleaner. And so what do you include with your service? What don't you include should help you determine what's included with your pane price. So for this, let's say a home has 10 windows, crank out windows. So you're going to have 10 panes outside, 10 panes inside. You're looking at $120. This can be different because if you're looking at a home with double hungs that's going to have 2 panes outside, 2 panes inside, you're doubling that, $240. But there's more detailing. Anytime you lift a squeegee off of a pane to clean to go to a next, it takes time. It's minimal, but it still takes time. You have to detail around those edges of each of those, and start with a formula. Some people, and then gauge it and compare jobs. Compare jobs that based on how many bids you do, how many bids are awarded. If it's a high percentage, you can increase your prices a little bit. If you're not being awarded many of these jobs, your prices are probably too high, and you need to lower your price a little bit to get a customer acceptance rate that's to gauge what your area kind of will allow. another thing for new guys is to document. So once you're awarded a job, time that job. See how long it takes you from start to finish, and then multiply that with how much you made to get an hourly, kind of, income of what you're making. Compare it with a few jobs, and then look at that formula. Does it need to be increased or decreased, along with your acceptance rate on your bids? Many different factors, and you could go on and on. Window cleaning is such a simple job, but there's so many fine little details that make it complex. Window styles, speed of the user, obstacles in the way of windows, so many different aspects of it. But that's just a small look. Bidding windows, Saad here, Window Warriors Forum.